It's been a long time coming, but now it's here. Oh,
Hey,
nobody knows
welcome.
what to
So
do
today
when
we are
they
talking about
call.
something that is a total game changer for anyone out there with a big idea. You know, entrepreneurs, creators, you name it. We're going to get into a whole new way to build software, a way that lets you go from just a spark of an idea to a real working app, even if you have literally zero coding experience. So let's dive in. You know the feeling, right? You've got it, that $1 million idea, the app, that could solve a huge problem. But then reality hits you like a ton of bricks. You're not a developer, and that gap between your amazing vision and the technical skill you need to build it, it just feels like this massive, impossible canyon. And honestly, this is the exact spot where so many great ideas just die until now. This right here perfectly sums up the revolution that's happening. I mean, the old way, it was so slow. You were looking at 3 to 6 months just to get a first version out. It was ridiculously expensive. You usually had to hire a whole agency, and all the risk, that was on you. But this new way, what we're calling vibe coding, it just flips the whole script. It's fast, it's cheap, and the most important part, it puts you in control. Vibe coding is literally the bridge across that canyon. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get into how this whole idea to app problem is finally being solved. Then, and this is super important, we'll talk about the vibe coder's mindset. After that, we'll walk through a really clear roadmap for building web apps, then a totally different playbook for mobile apps. And finally, we'll talk about how you can launch your very first idea. Okay, before we even think about touching a single tool, we have to start right here. Seriously, the single most important part of this whole thing is getting the mindset right. This isn't just about some new tech, it's a completely new way of thinking about building. These are the rules of the game. So, what even is vibe coding? Let's just get a super clear definition. All it means is that you provide the instructions, the vibe, and the artificial intelligence does all the heavy lifting. It writes pretty much 100% of the code for you. Think of it this way. You're the architect, and the AI is your construction crew. And that leads us to this really crucial point. The goal here is not to replace developers. The true purpose of vibe coding is just one thing: validation. That's it. It's a tool to help you find out quickly and cheaply if that amazing idea you have is something people actually want and, more importantly, are willing to pay for. You figure that out before you sink a ton of time, energy, and money into it. Okay, now before we go any further, I have to talk about the number one biggest mistake. I've seen it 100 times. Experts have seen it. I mean, everyone from absolute beginners to seasoned pros makes this exact same error. And there it is. Your scope is just way, way too big. You're trying to build too much way too soon. You dream up your app, and it's got 10 incredible features. So you write this giant document, you dump it into an AI tool, and then you're surprised when a dozen things are broken. The biggest mistake is thinking too big right at the start. The fix, thankfully, is so simple. It's called the start small loop. You start with one single sentence that describes one tiny feature you want to build, just one. Then you have the AI build only that, and you test it like crazy until it works perfectly. And only then, once it's solid, do you add the next one sentence feature. This right here is how you make real solid progress. Alright, with that mindset locked in, let's talk about tools. We're going to start with web apps. And that's because the tools for web are just way more mature right now. I'm going to give you a super simple framework to help you choose the perfect tool for your idea starting today. I want you to think of all the tools out there, like a ladder with 4 tiers, 4 rungs. You just start where you're comfortable, and then you climb up as your needs and your skills start to grow. So we're going to walk up this ladder together from the absolute beginner all the way to pro level quality, starting with that very first rung. Tier 1 is designed for you if you're a total beginner. Like, if you hear the word database and your eyes just glaze over, this is your starting point, no question. Tools like Base 44 have everything you need baked right in. User accounts, data storage, all of it. There's no technical setup, just start here. It's that simple. Now, once you get your feet wet and you start thinking, I wish I could do a little more, you're ready for Tier 2. Tools like Emergence or Lovable, they give you way more control and power, but they still handle a lot of the complicated back-end stuff for you. This is where most people with a little bit of experience tend to hang out. Tiers 3 and 4, this is for when you really level up. You'll know it's time for Tier 3 when your app starts getting more complex, and the simpler tools just start breaking things or can't keep up. That's when you might grab an AI code editor like Cursor. And Tier 4? Well, that's for when you have actual paying customers, and code quality becomes absolutely critical. Then you'd use a pro-level AI to make sure your app is rock solid. Okay, let's switch gears completely now. Building a mobile app with AI today, it's a totally different ballgame than building for the web, and it requires a completely different playbook. And here's the honest truth why. The AI tools for creating mobile apps just aren't as advanced yet. They tend to generate code that's kind of messy, maybe a bit outdated, and it often won't pass the really strict review process for the Apple App Store or Google Play. So, we need a much smarter strategy. So the clever workaround is this simple 2-phase process. In phase 1, you use these vibe coding tools just to prototype your app. You design every screen, every button, the whole user experience until it's perfect. Then, for phase 2, you take screenshots of that perfect prototype and you feed them to a high-quality AI to write the clean production-ready code. So here's how that breaks down. For prototyping, tools like Emergence are awesome because they create these beautiful interactive demos you can actually share with people to get feedback. Then, once your design is locked in, you use a Tier 4 tool like Claude Coder to do the actual building. See? This gives you the best of both worlds. You get to design super fast, and you end up with high quality code. Okay, we've covered the mindset, the web roadmap, the mobile playbook. We've gone from theory to practice, but now it's time to shift from just learning to actually doing. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, starts right now. So are you ready? Are you ready to take that idea that's been rattling around in your head and actually put it out into the world? Let's make this real. Here is your first assignment. It's super simple, really low risk. Just pick a Tier 1 tool, come up with a dead simple 1-sentence idea, maybe just a basic landing page for something. Look, the goal is not a perfect product. The goal is just to get your feet wet and learn how this all feels. And please remember that last point. If you have to restart, it's not a failure. You're not starting over from scratch. You're starting from experience. And as you get started, keep this piece of advice in your back pocket. The tool is supposed to serve you, not the other way around. The moment you find yourself spending more time fighting with your tool than actually building the thing you want to build, that's your signal. It's time to move up to the next tier. So don't get discouraged, just level up. And that really brings us to the end. You have the mindset now. You have the roadmap. You have the playbook. You have everything you need to turn your vision into a reality. The only barrier left is just starting. So the question isn't if you can build it anymore. The real question is, what will you build first?
Follow this channel for more details on how you can develop that great app you have been thinking about making. Thanks for watching.
It's been a long time coming, but now it's here. Oh, nobody knows what to do and they all fear.